We play for keeps, Cuddy. You ain't heard about the Huddle fire with no with D-Lane. We tryna get it off the muscle. Walters caught the pick and ran it back without a tussle. Blow the whistle, coach is trying to get back to the huddle.
Welcome to the 510 Huddle. We got another special guest this week with Dante Marsh and Coach D-Lane with us. How you doing today, Marsh?
I'm good. I'm always good. What's going on? How y'all doing?
Man, feeling good, man. We got an Oakland legend in, man. We got an Oakland legend on the pod, CFL legend. So we ready to dive into it, Coach. But we want to start with first before we get into the beginning of your story. Let's talk about what you're doing right now. Fit. What is it? The Factory Institute of Fitness or Training.
Yeah. So my homeboy Tim Brown and LaBelle Hawkins, they from Stockton. So I'm
gotcha.
This way. So we all played D1 ball, NFL, CFL, and got into coaching. I got into coaching about 6 years ago when I retired. So basically just coming up with the idea like, yo, we know what we doing. I went back and got my master's degree in strength and conditioning just to add that paperwork. So why not put it to use? And already have to my credit, trained, coached, mentored, and basically developed a slew of D1 guys. So the proof is in the pudding. So why not? So it was an idea that they presented to me and was like, get on board, Marsh, get on board. So I'm with it.
And how long has the institute been running, Coach?
Shoot, we opened up doors in December. So not that
Okay.
It's cranking.
Yeah, and you I'm sure you cross training, right? Multiple sports, not just football.
See, and this is where I like to. I think for us and for me personally, I am a jack of all trades in terms of speed training, strength and conditioning. My specialty is defensive back, but I've trained receivers, quarterback, linemen. I've trained wrestlers. We got some boxers in there, basketball players, softball players, track and field. So we do everything. It's a one-stop shop. So I think that's what gives us the advantage.
Okay.
I like that. And if someone wants to join your program or join your training, how could they get a hold of you or start that?
Man, Dante Marsh 31 at gmail.com, DMarsh31 on Instagram, Dante Marsh on Facebook, Dante Marsh on Twitter.
And it's located in Stockton, right?
In Stockton, California.
Okay. Let's start from the beginning now, cause let's talk about tell the people where you grew up, where you from, and how did you get introduced to football?
I grew up from North Oakland. Grew up playing all my sports at Bushrod Park, 59th Street, the old park. My aunt, my dad's sister, Leslie Colbert, she's like a pillar of the community. Everybody knows Leslie. She was a supervisor at Bushrod for many years.
Okay.
And also worked night shifts at 150th at Juvenile Hall. So that's how we kind of ended up, me and my brother and my cousin, being at the park a lot. I went to Washington Elementary. I think it's St. Kofa. They changed the name. It's right.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Real Ice City, baby. Okay, I know exactly where you at, Coach. Yeah.
So adjacent to Bushrod. So you just walk a trail. It's a gate that separates that. So, that was our thing as kids, being able to be in that program, old school Oakland Parks and Rec, and just having that experience alone was everything for me as a kid. And basically started playing. I played point guard for Melvin Landry, Rebels, old school Rebels.
I know Cuz Landry. Okay.
Yeah, Mello. I learned how to play baseball over there, and started playing flag football. And then when a couple of my homeboys kept telling me, Marsh, man, you need to come play tackle football, like pads and a helmet. I'm like 9 years old, like give me the information. And when I finally got the information and, persuaded my pops to take me on over to old school East Campus, Berkeley Cougars.
Okay.
Once I did that, I didn't want to do nothing else. So that's how I started.
Okay. And Coach, what I know you went to MAC. What time period was that? I know what era was were you?
I didn't start at MAC. I was supposed to go to Tech or Oakland High.
Okay.
I stayed off of Santa Clara up the street from Mosswood. So really, I should have been at Tech or Oakland High, but
Okay.
So I did my first 3 years at Berkeley High.
Okay.
We had basically what it was is a lot of us kids, you know, North Oakland being so close in proximity to Berkeley and then playing Berkeley, which obviously we had a coach. We were real successful. My last couple of years playing Little League football over there for Coach Herbert Miller. So he ended up getting the junior varsity coaching job at Berkeley High. So he kind of wanted to funnel all his young guys, you know, like a farm system to the high school. Because I guess he eventually wanted to be the head coach over there, varsity head coach. So it just made sense. He's, you know, has developed so much of this young talent at the grassroots level. He was going to get us, you know, in high school. So he kind of persuaded us all to attend Berkeley High. My mama graduated from Berkeley High. My sister graduated from Berkeley High. So it made sense.
Okay.
That's dope. We got Mac. So I graduated from Mac too, and it was similar. I went to San Leandro High my first 3 years, and then my last year I went to Mac. So yeah, there we go.
Oh, chasing rings. That's all y'all two was doing. Chasing rings. I know he was. That was 2010 team for him, I think. Right?
See, look, we popped it off. Wasn't nobody trying to. No. Look.
So that's why I asked you that about Mac, because I was gonna ask you about what was that era of OAL football like. They all, you know, because I know Skyline had the 90s, and then Mac been running it for the most part in the 2000s.
So when I got there, so real quick, funny story. So I'm going to Berkeley High. Coach Mike Tuiasosopo and John Gradwall came in and turned that program around. Like before I got there, they might have went 1-9 or something crazy. So then we ended up getting the old school AstroTurf at High back in the 93, 94, and they turned the program around. So I'm class of 97. So my big bros, Hannibal Navies and Juwan Cherry, they were class of 95. So that's 2 years ahead of me. They got scholarships to the University of Colorado when Rick Neuhauser was the head coach. Back when Colorado was popping.
Okay.
So, they sent those. They got scholarships, and then in '96, my homeboy Marcus Williams and Rashidi Barnes got scholarships to UC. So it was like becoming a thing. But then when, you know, after my junior season, they left. So we didn't have no coach at the high school.
Okay.
You know, I wasn't always who I am today, so I got kicked out of school. And I was down the street at East Campus, believe it or not, for the second semester of my junior year.
Okay.
So I wasn't even in regular school. I'm in half school. Like
continue. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I was getting out at 12, man, and you know, walking up the street to Berkeley High, getting my letters. So anyway, handle my business. I had some truancy, you know, cutting school, and the grades wasn't right. So anyway, I finally pulled them up, got back into school. At this time, Joe Martin had got the head coaching job at Berkeley High. So long story short, I'm the guy. You know, I say this so humbly. And it was an issue where, you know, they wanted to, you know, split time. I was a running back in high school. That's my main position.
Okay.
I played DB because I could do it.
Me too. Me too. Got you. Okay. Hey.
You know, long story short, we having a scrimmage at Berkeley High, and my brother, my younger brother, I'm about 14 months, a year and some change older than him. He, you know, he's in the stands. You know, he one of them dudes, and getting it popping. And next thing I hear is, Dante, they jumping your brother. So without hesitation, I hopped the fence. I'm in my whole uniform. I didn't hit nobody, throw no punches. I just grabbed cats up off my brother. So I got suspended for the first game of the season. It was ridiculous. So anyway, served that little suspension. We go out to Union City the following week after I did my little suspension and play Logan. We got banged. That wasn't a good game. And long story short, came in the next day after the game, I had tape all on my locker, come see the coaches. So I go in there, meet with the coaches, and they're like, basically, we're kicking you off the team, but come back to practice Monday. So me at 17, hot-headed, stormed out of the office, slammed the door, you know, paged my daddy, man, I want to transfer. See, back then, they didn't have all these rules.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, how'd you work the transfer thing? Okay.
Y'all gonna laugh. This is like the craziest story ever in the history of high school sports, right? So, mind you, this is going into week 3 of my senior year of football. Like week 3 regular season. like, you know, preseason, but like, you know.
Yeah.
So I paged my daddy. I'm hot. He's like, calm down. I'm with shout out, rest in peace to my childhood homeboy, Ricky Lavender. So anyway, my pops and his pops, they all, you know, used to coach us in Pop Warner with the Cougars, so they hanging out. And I paged my daddy, so he calmed me down, and he's like, so what you want to do? What you want to do? I'm like, man, I want to transfer. I didn't, you know, it wasn't no thought about sitting out no game. It wasn't none of that back then. So long story short, he talked to a young Alonzo Carter, and we set it up. And that Monday, I transferred on a Monday and played that Friday at Mac.
That is crazy.
Yeah, Coach on too. That's funny.
We did. He did actually bring up your 2017. He said that he was like, y'all had some goons on that team that kicked it off for real.
We popped it off. I think we had 5 or 7 D1 dudes off that team. So me, Devon Banks, Ricky Lavender, rest in peace. Emery, rest in peace. He went to say so. It was about 5 or 6, maybe 7 D1 dudes on that team. Eric Culberson.
That was loaded.
So, Coach, let's transition from there to college. What made you want to go to Fresno State? How was the recruiting like for you coming up? And what led you to Fresno?
I wanted to go to Arizona State. That was my number one choice. They just come off the Rose Bowl, and you know, the Sun Devils was it for me. They were all those guys, but I didn't have so my grade situation was in disarray. Like back then, I think we had 12 or 13 core classes. It wasn't 16 as it is now, and I didn't have a me. Like I didn't have anyone guiding me. I had my father kind of. You handling your business, but it wasn't, you know, yeah, daddy, I'm here because my parents were separated, not divorced, but separated. So I'm living with my mama. I'm doing me. Like I'm running them up. So my dude, you handling your business, your pops back then see you in the paper and you getting these write-ups and these letters and he think it's good when really it's not. I didn't know anything about the clearinghouse. I didn't know anything about taking the SAT. I didn't know anything about core grades versus I'm eligible grades. So I would just, you know, BS all through the school year and then, you know, turn it on, go to summer school, I'm eligible. So that's how I was going back then. So a lot of schools were waiting on my test scores to match up to the GPA. So I had Washington State, I had some Pac-10s, Oregon State.
And did all these schools want you for defensive back or was they looking at you for running back?
Everybody basically was like, you're going to make your money at corner, play defense. Okay. Well, whatever. Fresno, Pat Hill just got the head coaching job. So he's like fresh off the plane type deal. And what did it for me basically was me doing my research, also understand it's only 3 hours from the crib. And it was the old school WAC. So you had 16 teams deep. You had BYU, San Diego State, Wyoming, Tulsa, UTEP, TCU, BYU, Mexico. So it was so many teams, and they threw the ball. Like I remember watching old school Trent Dilfer and them go against Marshall Faulk and the scores like 51-48, like crazy stuff like that. So, and for Pat Hill to tell me, we're offering you a scholarship, even if you don't pass your test, I'll prop 48 you. That was it for me. And then I busted my ass and, you know, both semesters at Mac, pulled my GPA up, passed my test, and I played as a freshman, but that was that story. So that's one of the main reasons I
gotta ask you, did you have Dr. Taylor as a teacher?
Yes, I did. The famous Dr. Taylor paper.
Oh yeah. I feel like I haven't met anyone. I mean, Coach Peters, that was his teacher. I haven't met anyone that hasn't had her. That's crazy.
What she teach at? She teach at Max, eh?
Yeah, man. She's the longest teacher in the Oakland School District, like history. So yeah, she's coached. I mean, she was Coach Poole's teacher, and you know he's in his 50s. So,
okay.
Hey, that paper is notorious, dog. You weren't taking those. You had to pass. You had to
paper. No matter who you are, what coach. The research. It's a long research paper. Yeah. I'll tell you to teach you how to work though. Help you in college.
You know what? Y'all got it easier because y'all had more access to the technology was so much better for y'all. Like I had deeper in high school.
You probably had to go like through the encyclopedia back then.
To a real library.
12.
I had to go to the library. Y'all boys used to get on.
That's crazy.
Shout out to Dr. Taylor, man. One of the great African-American leaders in a teaching role. And those are the few teachers, not to digress, but along with my parents and my coaches and some of my teachers, those are the most influential people I've had in my life over my 42 years of living. That I could think back, and they will always be a fixture in the journey that I was on.
Okay.
Amazing one.
Coach, I got a two-part question in one. How was that one season you did in the NFL with the Titans? And then the second question off that is, can you explain to us the CFL versus the NFL experience for you?
The 1 year in the NFL was a learning experience. I thought I was supposed to get drafted. I was being told 4th round and on. The Giants gave me a 4th round grade. Had a good senior year. Had a good body of work at Fresno State. Pro day was pretty good. So I did everything I was supposed to do to be able to be picked on those 2 days. So it was more so a day 2 type deal. And then I was just going to prove myself. But it didn't happen. But I had 5 teams calling right after the draft. So I was a priority free agent. And I went to Tennessee, chose the best situation for me, impressed a lot of people, made the team. We're playing a preseason game against the Bears. Like 5 of our undrafted free agents made the team. Like Lane Bishop joked, like, man, our free agent class.
Is this Jeff Fisher's time?
Yes.
Okay.
This is okay. 01. So he was joking, like, man, our free agent class better than our draft class. Like, we lose, like, serious. So whoever was in charge of the scouting in that 1 year, they should have got paid a bonus for sure.
Well, Coach, how do you feel about Jeff Fisher, man? You know, he gets slandered a lot through the media, especially in his later years, just with his record play, everything, the way his teams play and whatnot. How do you feel about how he is as a coach?
Coach Fisher was cool. California dude, USC, Chicago Bear, 85 Bear. He was just laid back. Like, he was chill. He was cool. Like, we got to it, but he was just cool. That situation for me was like so perfect. And then I got the injury. But like, you talking about Chuck Cecil was our safeties coach. Like, we had a good staff. Like, we had some good guys on that team and players. Players was dope.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that McNair, Eddie George?
McNair, Eddie George, rest in peace, McNair.
Rest in peace.
Javon Curse, little Oaktown, little Dante. Like,
yeah. Hey, Javon Curse, he played for my Eagles. I definitely know what you're talking about. Yeah, Curse, right?
Javon Curse, Samari Roll, K-Bull, shout out to K-Bull.
Was that the year with the crazy play?
Nah, that was nah.
Oh, well, Dyson with the I remember that was.
Nah, that was him and I think it was him and Wycheck. That was like 2 years before I got there. So me and Dyson's younger brother Andre, we're in the same draft class. So we were
okay.
So no, that was a great time for me. I learned the business side of pro sports. You know, It's not all what people think. For those out there that had never signed a pro contract, never been in a training camp, never been signed to a professional team, they have no idea. So like when people sit on their ass on the couch and they have so much to say about a player asking for X amount of money, man, you have no idea what that life is like, man. They deserve every dime because it's not guaranteed. You can have a career. I basically had a career-ending injury, and just, it took me 2 full years to really get myself back together. Like, a lot of people don't know this, but I missed the whole regular season. I ended up on injured reserve in 01. So I missed the whole regular season of 01. They didn't bring me back 02.
What was your injury, Coach?
I shoulder. Like, I tore part of my pec, my subscapularis, my rotator cuff. I had nerve damage. Like, this is all in one deal.
Oh, so you knew you were going to play again.
Right. It was like, I don't know. It might be a wrap. So basically, I was out of football 3 full seasons before I went up to the Canadian Football League.
Okay. And, Coach, before we talk CFL, because you said something there, and I actually would like to get you and Zay's input on it, because I'm not sure, or actually education on it, because I'm not sure what's the new hot thing with the voidable years at the end of the contracts that all these NFL teams are doing right now. Does that just mean they're giving you all your money up front?
No. The contract, as I know it to be, like, so when I came out, things were slotted. Like, So if, like, for example, if he was the first round pick in 2000, the first round pick in 2001 had an increase, I think, what was it, 10 or 15 or 18% on the previous where they're slotted. So each year it was like it was going up.
Okay.
And it became a deal where you're paying these unproven, and when I say unproven, this is not hating, this is not slighting. I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way, because you know, players did what they did at their respective colleges to earn what they, you know, their position, you know, get drafted to whatever team. But you have a guy like Junior Seau, rest in peace of Seau, who was what, a 13, 14 time Pro Bowler, like the guy. And then you have a rookie who's never played a down in the NFL, making just as much, if not more money than that guy. That's like a surefire Hall of Famer. So it's just, I understand from both ends of the spectrum. As a rookie guy, like, you want to get that paper, but then once you're a veteran guy and you've been putting in work at that level, there's no way a guy that's never done it, you know what I mean, should be getting paid more than you. So the contracts are different now. I believe you have to, it's like a 3 to 4 year situation that you got to play it out. And the only thing guaranteed is that bonus. So now they do things where they get creative, where they'll guarantee X, Y, and Z part of the contract.
Okay.
And that helps with the cap. So in a way, it's like, if you're seeing like the free agency, right, there's 5-year contracts. It's really like a 1-2 year if you look at where the guaranteed money is at. Right. After that first 2 years, they can let you go and not have to owe you nothing.
So, like, remember when the Raiders signed Bill Romanowski?
Oh,
yeah.
So Bill was like 34 years old, bro. Like, I think that was his last stop after Denver, because it was San Fran, Denver, and it was Oakland, right? So he's 34 years old. There's no way he's going to play 7 years at 34 years old. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what you do is, what they used to do is they give you a nice little signing bonus, but they would backload most of the rest of the money to the end of the contract. So let's say I signed a 7-year deal worth $120 million. They might, back then, you might get 25 of it as a signing bonus, or 18 to 25 of it as a signing bonus. But then they gonna backload most of the chunk of the money in years 4, 5, 6, 7. You know what I mean? So by that time, you're either gonna restructure your deal, or they gonna cut you, or they gonna trade you. That's how that works. So, you know, they know you never gonna make it to the end of that deal. So that's pretty much how they do.
Man, speaking on contracts, I don't know if you guys seen, what was that baseball kid just got like a 14, 12-year contract? A pitcher, I think it was a pitcher just recently. It was like a month or two ago. Pitcher, Padres or the Marlins, somebody. It was a baseball player. I was like, a 14-year contract. He ain't gonna lay that out. I'm play that out.
Baseball, a different animal though. Like I should have playing shortstop, man. This is crazy.
Yeah. But it takes longer to make it. You could be a rookie at 27. So if you let's say you low income, you like, you're not AAA ball making $45K a year. Like, bro, how long I got to do this till I get my shot?
You know what? So I had a homeboy in high school, Nathan Haynes. We went to junior high together. So he got drafted out of high school, and he also played receiver. So he had a scholarship to go to UNLV to play receiver. He ended up playing baseball, and I think he ended up getting a couple years in the majors, but he was in the minor leagues for a long time. But like my other homeboy, Ricky Manning Jr., who played corner in the league, when I was at Fresno State, he's a year younger than me, so I used to go watch him at his senior year in high school. Now he got drafted. I think he got about $400,000.
First round.
Yeah, the minor leagues. I got an uncle that he made like a 10-year career and that got a good living out just playing minor ball. Like he didn't even make it to the majors, AAA and everything. He didn't make it to the majors.
Because you get paid too in the majors. Like just one time you get like a 14-day contract paid out.
Right. So it's a perspective. It's in the eye of the beholder. It's like at the end of the day, it's just like when NBA cats, they get the 10-day deals, the 5-day deals, or whatever the case may be. Yeah, with the hope of, you betting on yourself. But if I'm in high school, I'm a 17-year-old kid, and you're going to cut me loose with $500,000, and you know what I mean? You in theory, you could have a good setup. So them giving him that bread and then him opting, doing it for a couple of years and then opting to just play football at UCLA. it worked out for him. He was a second-round pick, and you know, had some good years in the league.
And I think the underrated part about this is your body.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I only played high school and college, and I broke my back, I broke my nose, tore a shoulder, and so, like I would say, the underrated part is your body.
Definitely, the body. I mean, when it's like this. I would do it all over again. Bro. Like there's no high other than
definitely
coming out that tunnel with 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, in some cases 100,000, screaming. Like the adrenaline rush, like the preparation, the contact, the physicality of the game. There's nothing that can compare in terms of team sports, in my opinion. And you know, I'm gonna tap into my little sociology degree. The psychology behind it, right? So I have to be Clark Kent 24/7 until I go to practice. I got to jump in the phone booth and put on my cape, and now I have to train my mind to go out and participate in legal violence, right? Then after that, I got to step back in the phone booth and put on my civilian clothes and be a father, a husband, a stand-up dude in society. So not to run off on a tangent, but I can see how some guys, right? We don't condone beating up women and things of that nature, but I was in that cycle for 12 years. So I have firsthand knowledge of the strain and stress that it puts on you mentally and physically, man. It's like war. Like I'm not downplaying it, because you can get killed on the football field. You could get maimed on a football field. You could have a lifelong injuries from playing football. So it's the same thing, right? Cats got paralyzed, cats died out there, like the whole nine. And you can live the rest of your life with injuries that are permanent. You know what I'm saying? And there's no VA hospital for pro football.
It's crazy. Did both you guys have the grandma that didn't want y'all to play sports or play football, at least tackle football? Because that's how my grandma was. But my grandma was an OG, and she worked in a bar for a long time in Oakland. All the old Oakland Raiders used to come here, like the old retired ones. And she just used to be like, yeah, man, their hands is all crippled. They're all in wheelchairs. Like, she's like, I don't want you to play football. You play baseball. I'm like, but she used to tell me about all the different injuries and deficiencies they had as they was in their 70s and 80s, the older Raider players.
But you know what? I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Me either, Coach. Yeah, me either.
Experiences that I got, the relationships that I built, and I'm 42 years old and I'm still on scholarship. Like I've never really worked a real job a day in my life, all because of what football has been able to provide me in terms of I got a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, right? Based on what I accomplished, you know, on my journey in football, I've also built these relationships. So when I was, you know, in my last 3 or 4 years of playing, I started training, right? And this is something that I was already doing. I would have, how I got into that was off season. Some of my close homeboys would be like, yo, dude, write me up a workout plan. I wasn't no trainer at that point. I just did my thing, right? And I was like, man, because it wasn't no money issue. You know what I mean? That's my partner. Man, I'll pay you. You gonna pay me? No, man, just meet me at the gym and you can work out with me. And then my last couple of years, my aha moment went on and was like, yo, I guess I'm pretty good at this. I'm just start doing this. So then that's how that started. And you know, the coaching thing got threw on me kind of crazy too. I didn't see myself coaching. But one of my coaches, Johnny Holland, linebacker for the Packers. He's a linebackers coach for the 49ers currently. He was on one of my staffs when I was up in Canada. And he said, yo, Dante, you ever thought about coaching, man? When you done playing? I'm like, hell no, I ain't coaching, man. I'm doing me. I'm living, right? And he was like, no. Serious, I think you should really think about it, because you don't understand that you've been coaching the last 3 or 4 years of your career. Like, those young DBs, they're not asking the coaches. They're asking you. You're very detailed. You keep your body in excellent shape. You practice, you prepare week in and week out, and you've been doing this for a long time, dog. Like, you really need to think about it. So that's kind of how I got into coaching. And then obviously Alonzo Carter, who's like an uncle and a mentor to me, he basically finessed me into coaching at Contra Costa in 2015, and I just kept doing it.
Were you up there? Did he have Coach Pat up there already at the time? We had Coach Pat on the show too.
Pat just left.
Yeah, we had him on the show. Yeah, like a year ago, I think. Yeah.
Pat's my dog. Yeah, I think he was when I got there, he had just left to go do his master's, and he was
at USC.
And his under his GA stuff up at USC. Yeah.
Okay. So talk to us a little bit about that CFL experience, Coach. What was the biggest difference from that experience and the NFL experience for you?
The dimensions of the football field. It's 65 wide.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Space to cover.
Yeah, and then the end zones are 20 yards instead of 10, and then the goal post is in the front.
Okay.
And everybody can go in motion. You got 5 guys going in motion. It's crazy. Like, let me say this, because Ocho, Chad, shout out to Chad Johnson, man. He's a funny guy. He said it too. Like, me and him was talking like, yo, man, people think this is wild, man. This ain't no BS up here. These boys can play. Because it's so difficult to cover. Like, look, I could line up and bump and run, and the receiver could look at me and then back up 20 yards and run at me. You really have to be skilled and be able to run and move up there, man. Like, it's serious out there. Like, for real. So the biggest difference for me was the 3 downs, obviously.
It's only 3 downs? Okay.
3, and it's 12 on 12. It's not 11 on 11. So it's an extra DB and an extra receiver. But you don't really, once you get to doing it, I played boundary corner, so I played more so like in the short side of the field.
The two receiver side or single side possibly. Okay, I got you. So it didn't mess with too many of your true core principles, is what you're saying?
Not really, because it's more like NFL, because you're covering the 2 highest paid receivers is going to be in the boundary. So the 2 best DBs generally going to be in the boundary. So it's me and my homeboy, Corey Banks out of Mississippi State. We held it down in BC on that short side for like 10 years, won 2 Grey Cups. It did a lot of work up there. So, ball coming out quick. So once I got acclimated to the dimensions of the football field and the pace of the game, like it's 3 downs, real fast paced game. Once I got used to it, man, I had a rough couple games in the beginning, but after that, man, it was on and popping.
What there anything hard to get used to being up there in Canada?
You know what? I was blessed and fortunate to still be on the West Coast. Up in Vancouver, man, I used to slide over that border all the time. Like the state of Washington, Washington, Seattle, it's right from where I lived, and because we stayed. So Vancouver will put you in the mindset of, think of Berkeley and San Francisco like a mix of that. Downtown Vancouver, a lot of Asians,
with the hippies and shit.
Yeah. It's diverse, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It really puts you in you think you up on Telegraph or some shit, or you in the Tenderloin sometime, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Old school Berkeley, like Blondie's Pizza, like
yeah. Okay.
It was cool. A lot of money, the Asian people, some Indian people, Maybachs, Benzes, like they doing it. So they call Vancouver the LA of Canada. Also, we hung out with The Rock. We hung out with Andre 3000 came to a game one time, because they shoot a lot of movies up there because of the dollar difference, and the scenery is like a lot of the movies. I would catch myself sometime being back home and watching TV, and I'll see like a commercial. Oh, that's the bridge in Vancouver right by the stadium. They shoot a lot of there. So, man, we Wesley Snipes, we done hung out with a few people in Vancouver, because it's like a little under spot, where celebrities kind of could, get away and hang out without being, bombarded by the paparazzi. But yeah, man, Vancouver, I was blessed and fortunate to be on the West Coast. Not too far. I was still living in Oakland at the time. And it was beautiful. We had a big old dome stadium, 60,000 seat stadium. The weather pretty much was cool up until towards the end of the season, where it started raining real bad and snowing. But by that time, I was back in the good old USA, so it wasn't no big deal.
So, and when did you know that your time was done in the CFL? Was it a plan, like, I'm retired, or was it just, like, they're just not calling me no more?
No, I never officially ever retired.
Oh,
this is what happened. At 35, I was balling still. I'm 80-yard pick sixes at 35 years old.
Killing it.
For people who know me, and like I said, this is not arrogant talk. This is just real straight talk. Even at 42 right now, I'm in phenomenal shape for my age. Like, I could.
You be moving, cause I be seeing you on the ground, man. That boy be moving for sure. You be moving.
So it was never an issue about, I think what it was. This is what it really was, because I ended up talking to my old head coach and GM. He's a Hall of Fame coach up there. He was the one who actually cut The Rock.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I know. So we finally had a conversation. I was pissed off for a few years, but whatever. It's water under the bridge. They just didn't want to pay me no more. So we had a team in BC that was very good. We was kind of like the Patriots. Right. We should have more championships than we actually do. I played in 3, I won 2, but no BS. I should have 4 or 5 rings. That's how good of an organization we had. And what happened was, I'm up there for one team 11 straight years. You know what I mean? So over time, the star guys are getting older, retiring, getting traded, and they're rebuilding. So we weren't winning as much towards the end. So you know what happens, right? The cats making that high dollar, and in the CFL, 6 figures. They're not gonna keep cutting. They're gonna cut their losses because it's like regardless how good you are, I was 35 at the time. So, then it became a situation. It's myself, Corey Banks, and Ryan Phillips. Just the 3 of us DBs played together for 10, 11 years.
That's unheard of.
Yeah, unheard of. And we have over 100 interceptions between the 3 of us. 12 defensive touchdowns, like Hall of Fame stuff, like real talk. So a lot of guys that wanted to come up to BC, their agents would tell the assistant general manager, no, I'm not sending them there. Because we know Marsh, Phillips, and Banks not going nowhere. So that played a role in it too. So, towards the end, it was, then, I'm a vet at this time. So I'm telling some of the young guys the real rules and the tricks of the trade. Like, brother, you better protect yourself. You got to do this. You got to do that. And, some teams, they don't like that. You get labeled as a locker room lawyer. And then I noticed, because the OGs did it for me. Yeah. So it's only right that I pay it forward.
Pass it back down, yeah.
Get screwed up here. Like, I'm going to tell you the real. This is what you need to do, young buck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was one of those situations where it had nothing to do. My play did not decline. This is all factual, and even if it did, I could have moved to safety and played tiles 40. Yeah. If I wanted to. So it was.
I got to ask you, can you play right now?
You know what? Give me 8 weeks of training. I won't smoke no cigars because I'm a cigar lover.
Okay.
Okay.
Give him a season.
No BS. I probably could play cover 2.
Hey,
sure.
Hey, Coach Marsh, I wanted to ask you about that, man. Cause I seen your take on cover 2 in the little Facebook chat that we had with all the black coaches. It's for the most part, what you was explaining is what I've always been taught as well. I just never heard of it. Literally, just say, "Oh, the corner guy is at the end of the day is responsible for 18 yards of real estate." But with the one point that you did say that I've always been taught is they got the flats, but they don't have the flats till something brings them down to the flat. So, can you elaborate a little bit on what you said in that video, Coach, for the people?
Yeah. So basically, shout out to JD Williams, Fresno State Bulldog. I believe he was the first Fresno State Bulldog taken in the first round. He played with Marquez Pope at Fresno. He was my DB coach. Matter of fact, he called me earlier today. That's my guy. Taught me a lot. So when my true freshman year on campus, 97, 98 year, he had just finished up in the NFL. So he was getting his coaching career started. So he showed me and told me all these little tricks. So a lot of the training I do, like the treadmill transition on a fast speed, like he showed me how to do that. And then explain in cover 2. Okay, so he would tell me, okay, what do you have in cover 2? The flats. No. I'm like, huh? So, it's being explained wrong. And when I got on this side of coaching, I understood. I was a player for so long. I know intricate little details, right? It's not just, okay, you got this. Because as a coach, you'll know the coaches that really didn't play like that, they're X and O guys. They're great at that. But as we all know, the guys that play, once that ball snap, man, you gotta make a play. You gotta play ball. It's called playing football. So a former player that has become a coach is now giving me all these little tricks of the trade. So basically, what you want to do is nothing brings you down to the flat, but the ball. The man can't bring you down. It's like y'all see that commercial with the old man with the fishing pole, and he got the dollar on the end. He like, almost got it right. So basically, what they're doing is illusions, because when we always want to key to QB, always 3-step read rules all the time, whether you're in man or zone. So cover 2, Hence, look at the inside number 2 receiver or number 3, or let's figure out where that back is. Is he to my side or is he away? Now I can see everything. My job is to make sure number 1 gets funneled inside. He has to have a inside release. Now, you don't have to physically touch him all the time. You could play basketball, slide lateral, and just make sure he goes inside. But we want to look at 2 because 2 is going to tell us what 1 going to do. It's crazy, right? Mm-hmm. So they run a lot of smash variations, smash concepts, something high, something low, something in, something out. So with that said, as long as you making sure number 1 goes inside and he doesn't get up the sideline in your blind spot.
And have a straight action up to that whole shot.
Right, the whole shot, which is over the corner's head and in between the safety and the corner, right? Mm. So by you reading it and finding that little happy spot from 0, from the line of scrimmage, because you're responsible for quick screen and hitch right now, right? Or quick slant if he's throwing that ball. You drive on it. So when I said 0 to 18, that's really what you got, because you should be able to find that happy spot around between 8 and 12 yards, so you could play the corner route. You should be able to take 3 to 5 hard to be underneath the corner route. Or if he throw that thing in the flat right now, you're gonna knock his helmet off. So you gotta kind of find that little happy space in between, and you really have to be responsible from 0 to 18, 24 yards.
Okay.
So that's where I was going with it, because there's too many young guys being told you're a flat defender. You have to elaborate on that, because these young guys are going to take that like to the bank, and they're going to jump ghosts all the time. Mm-hmm. So that's why I did that video.
Okay. I like that. Coach, who's a receiver that gave you the hardest time during your playing days? A receiver when you was at DB?
There was a lot of
Yeah, you know, every dog got his day, man. You know, every dog going to have his day.
Yeah. My rookie year in Tennessee, the Indianapolis Colts came to town to scrimmage. You know, you have those joint practices in the NFL, and then you scrimmage like on that Saturday. Reggie Wayne was pretty good as a rookie. He was a rookie, Mike. Marvin Harrison.
Hall of Famers right there.
Both Hall of Famers. Okay.
And the dude throwing the ball to him wasn't no slouch either.
yeah, number 18.
Yeah. So so there was some and then in practice every day, I was going against Derek Mason and Kevin Dyson and I mean, it was some dudes, like, you know. And then when I got to the league, I mean the CFL, Andre Rison. I mean, he was with the Toronto Argonauts.
Okay.
Like towards the end, at 38, but still had that. He still was, you know.
Did T.O. ever make it up there? Did T.O. do a year up there? And did you see him or not?
Not while I was up there. I played against R.J. Soward.
Okay, I thought T.O. had a year.
Played against Chad?
Chad went up there. That's what I'm confused.
I trained with Chad before the draft. We was all in L.A. We was in L.A. trying to meet him, T.J. Hushman's my homeboy Marcus Williams, Jeremiah Font. So I already kind of was familiar with Chad. You know,
you would have been with their draft class at Oregon State if you had went, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. Oregon State was loaded.
Yep. Okay. That year they were. Yes, they were. Ken Simonton, Pittsburgh High School. You know, they had some dudes. Yeah, so there was a lot of guys. My homeboy Kenyon Rambo, Long Beach Poly, Ohio State, Raiders, Cowboys. Like me and him had some classic battles, man. Shout out to Kenyon, man. Tucker. There's a lot of good receivers all over the planet.
Yeah,
like, I done played against good ones.
All right, Coach. I only got a couple more for you. I want to keep you all night, but I got to get these two because one of them is actually new. Let's start with the new question I found. So I'm going to give you a few traits, and then we want you to build your perfect DB for us, all right? I'm going to throw some traits out there to you, and then you name a player that you think you would like to pull that trait from, all right? All right, we'll start with speed.
I could pick any. It don't matter.
Any player. Any era, don't matter.
Prime time.
Sure. Okay, prime.
I could go prime time. I could go prime time, Darrell Green or Rod Woodson.
Okay. Okay.
Yo, Green could fly.
Tell me if I'm wrong, Coach. I think these two kind of tie into the same. Awareness and ball skills. About the same, right? Awareness and ball skills.
Yeah, Charles Woodson off top.
Charles. Okay, see what? Yeah. All right, overall coverage skills.
Seawood, Champ Bailey.
I knew I was like, I think it was.
That's one of Zay's favorites. He was Champ.
I mean, because I trained with Seawood, Pepper Sports, when I was out of football trying to get back into it. Dude is like phenomenal, like smart, awareness, ball skills. Champ Bailey is another, man. Dude is phenomenal, man. Like, it's not just one dude. Like, it's kind of like I got so many because I'm a fan of the game. So,
got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Tackling.
From a corner?
DB perspective. Period. You building your perfect DB, so it don't matter.
I mean, if we gonna build like this super player, I mean, you can go with rest in peace, man. Sean Taylor, man. I think he would have been a first ballot, first minute Hall of Famer. We talk strictly corner. Like I said, to me, one of the most complete OG Rod and Charles. Okay. Because Rod was 6'2", over 200. He was a like a record holder in the Big Ten at Purdue, like hurdles, like Rod can run, and he went to the Pro Bowl at safety, corner, and
safety and corner. Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna make it a little tougher on you with this question, Coach. Your all-time secondary. We need 5. We need 2 corners, a nickel, and 2 safeties. Any era, your personal favorite.
Damn. That's tough, man. I can't just do 5. Let me see. I'm gonna go Deion.
Okay, Deion at one corner.
I'll take Champ Bailey.
Champ at the other corner.
Seawood would be my nickel.
All right, Seawood at the nickel.
Safeties is tough, man.
A lot of them. A lot of good ones.
It's tough. I go Ed Reed, Palomalu. Or I go Sean Taylor, Ed Reed, or Palomalu, Sean Taylor.
Palomalu would be the first, I think, for us, right? I don't think we heard Palomalu. We get Ed Reed, Ronnie Lott. We get those guys a lot. Who else?
Yeah, Ed Reed is a favorite of mine too. I'm gonna just go with the 2 UM guys, and it's no side because Palomalu would be in there too, and Ronnie Lott and Atwater. Like, it's some dudes.
Yeah.
But I would probably go Ed Reed, Sean Taylor. So I'll go Deion Sanders, Charles Woodson, Champ Bailey, Ed Reed, and Sean Taylor.
I'll be honest. That's my favorite one we've gotten, D-Lane, out all the list. I feel like it's the most complete. Straps on
it is a little bit of everything.
Because you got guys that can play. Because you got guys that can play both spots. Because Seawood, the reason why I threw him at the nickel, because I could flop him. I could put Champ at the nickel. I could take Ed Reed and put him down. I mean, it's so many different things you can do.
Taylor play middle for you too.
He can play corner. He done lined up against Moss back in the day. Like, it's dude. Like, I'm a big Ty Law fan too.
I used to love Ty Law. Him, Malloy, all the day. They had a nice little run too. Yeah.
There's so many guys. I'm a Rod Woodson fan. Like, I'm gonna throw out one that was playing before I was born, but since I'm such a fan of the game, Mel Blunt. You talking about 6'3" dude out there on the corner, wearing 47.
I agree. Hey, we got D-Lane back. I know you want to ask your last question before we wrapped it up.
Oh, no, yeah, man. It's a question, Coach Marsh, we like to ask everybody on the pod. So basically, just know before you answer it, you got to give us the live to whoever you answer it with, all right? So we need to know who should we have next on the show, and if you know them, you got to give us the live, Coach.
Who should y'all have next on the podcast? Y'all had Marshawn on here already?
Nah, we ain't had Marshawn on. We had Josh on. Josh, my folks, Josh Johnson. Now he was supposed to get Marcus on. We haven't had Marshawn yet.
Well, I mean, there's some very good players from the past that's from the town that I think would be a good interview. One of my college teammates and roommates, actually, my freshman year, Anthony Limbrick, Bob with Skyline.
Okay.
I mean, my cousin Leon McDaniels. There's some guys out there that would be a good interview.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. If you got that beast mode connection, we'll take that. I ain't even gonna lie to you. We'll take that.
Stanley can make it happen. Fab can make it happen.
Yeah.
I call Fab.
Okay, yeah, Fab knows. Yeah, Fab knows what's up. That's folks right there.
I put it out there, man. But I don't know how people be acting, man.
It's all good. Hey, man. Yeah.
I'm thankful, y'all. Like we do this is nothing, man. I have no qualms about it. It's y'all ask me to do it, I'm doing it. Real quick, I do a podcast too with this cat, Ryan Hyde out in Canada. We tapped in with some rock stars, we tapped in with other former pro players, and it's not so much for me, it's about being more than just talking to an old washed up athlete. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times view us as not knowing I'm so much more than what I did on the football field. So there's many layers to it and being very successful outside of football. So this is awesome, man. Y'all got to keep it going, especially doing it for the hometown guys that are from here, not only just Oakland but the whole Bay Area. Get known, man, because we need to get that light shine back on us the right way. There's a lot of stacking and stealing from people from other places, all originated here to make good people know that.
Yeah, man. A lot of talent here. That's why we created the pod, man. Coach, just to shed light on the Bay Area talent. We started with sports, and more so recently, I think we had Tunde from Oakland Yale, a journalist. He was our first journalist on. We done had a DJ on. We had a few people on. We trying to definitely diversify it a little bit and just not stick with the athlete.
People doing their thing for them, so trying to represent.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, and the young people need it. Real quick, man. How can they beat you if they can't outwork you? That's my slogan. I put it on the back of shirts. The reason why I love that saying so much, it's not just something for sports. It's a CEO, a young CEO. It's a young law school student. It's the garbage man. It's the janitor. It's the guy working at Alhambra, PG&E. The mindset behind that is, if I do everything within my human power to achieve the goal that I set forth, then I can be okay with the results when I look in the mirror, because there was nothing more that I can give. Because we all know at the end of the day, God is orchestrating all these things and aligning, things the right way, closing doors that should be closed and opening doors that should be open, right? So that's my go-to, man. How can they beat you if they can't work? I can look.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I know you threw it out there earlier. I wanted you to also throw your social media out there for everybody, just so if anybody want to go follow you and stuff.
My social media on Instagram is dmarsh31, DMARSH 31, and my Twitter is my name, Dante Marsh. And I'm fairly new to Facebook within the last few years. I never went to Facebook guy, but I'm Dante Marsh on Facebook. Basically, my social media platform is the real me. Ain't no stunting, ain't no foolishness. It's the real me. I'm just having fun. I'm a big old kid now. I'm the youngest 42-year-old y'all ever gonna meet, and I enjoy what I do every day. And it's real walkie-talkie with me. I have fun with it, and we also impact lives, man. So that's the main thing. And I'm blessed and fortunate to be doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna keep it going.
Yes, sir. Hey, we appreciate you, Coach Marsh, man, for jumping on the pod again, man. We wish you and your family health. Make sure you guys stay safe. You and your family and the whole team over there you got going at Fit Institute and at Delta. How's it going for you at Delta right now?
Man, that's what. That's a little difficult. The whole COVID thing is kind of throwing a monkey wrench. Ain't it
doing the class of 21 scandals, Coach? They doing them dirty right now, man. Class of 21.
Yeah, it did my son dirty. My son just turned 19. He graduated class of 2020. My baby didn't get to go to his prom. He didn't get to do the grad trip.
Damn.
So, yeah, man, it's been tough recruiting too, because for me, I'm pretty good at recruiting, and like the out-of-state guys I get, it just kind of shut down everything. It's like I can't really tell them nothing because we're not, at liberty to, move forward until we get tier, the red tier and so forth and so on. So it's kind of like been a little tough, man. We've been holding it down, doing the Zoom meetings and doing talking ball and trying to keep the student athlete spirits up.
We trying to get clear right now to get them 15 days of spring ball. That's what we trying to get right now.
I mean, my whole thing is we should have just played, man. And once again, these are Dante Marsh's opinions. I'm not I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but hey, what do I know? I'm just saying this is my opinion. I think we should have followed suit along with some of the other states, especially. Here's the deal, real quick. These high school kids, man, it's impacting them the most. You have the suicide rates are up, kids dropping out of school are up. I also am an assistant teacher at the high school, Stockton Unified School District, so we do the Zooms. And it's sad what has happened. And my thing is, I think we could have done what some other states, like the southern states, have done. And you let these boys, young men and young women play their respective sports. Not because you can't grant them, like, they're not granting a high school kid a year back. They're not doing it. So a few kids that I'm training that are D1 prospects, but based on their junior year film, they're like on the cusp, and they really needed this senior year to really show their exploits on the gridiron. And it's sad that they're not being afforded that opportunity. So for me, football is a vehicle. Sports in general is a vehicle to navigate you through life. It's all about Operation Free Education. So when you take that away from these young men and women, and I know for a lot of kids, especially in the inner city, sports is what's keeping them even going to school, because of the whatever's going on the home front. It's life is, a circus for some kids. And the only place of solace and where they feel comfortable, where they can flourish, is at school, at practice, and being, socially around those people. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. I think it could have been handled a lot differently. It's impacted California crazy.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I just think at the end of the day, Coach, it was adults just got to come together and act like adults, man. Like you said, I work in education myself as well for the county at Alameda, but I also work for a private school in Berkeley, and they've been open most of the pandemic. Like, they closed for a few minutes, and when I say private school, like, it's an elementary school, it costs about $20K a year to send your kids. So you can understand their pockets is a lot different than from a regular public school. But still, at the same day, I don't feel like it's different. They adults came together, got the temperature checks. They made sure everybody in the school got masks. They got hand sanitizer. They're spraying down the whole playground periodically throughout the day. They keep kids in pods. I'm like, public schools can do this as well. It's not going to take a rocket scientist. We just got to be adults and come together and get the shit done.
True, and I agree 100%. But the powers that be, and some would call me a conspiracy theorist. I'm just woke. I've been woke for a long time, and I know it. I kind of know what it is. My opinion, once again, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. If you can catch COVID on the playground, then you can obviously catch COVID at Home Depot or Walmart or some of these places that were essential. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. But anyway, the main thing is us getting the young people back on track and getting them back to what is a normal life, so to speak. And I really do hope we can. This wasn't a beta test, and this is kind of like, let's see what we can do moving forward, because it's terrible, man. Terrible.
Definitely, I'll do that.
But
got anything else?
Thank y'all for having me, man. Thank you for having me.
Hey, we appreciate you, Coach. Definitely, we definitely gonna get you on to do it again, man. Cause my damn computer died on me. I ain't like that. We're gonna get you on again, Coach, for sure. Probably after the season, after spring ball. We'll get you on after spring ball.
It's good. It's good. Let's tap in.
Yeah, now, Coach, I'm gonna email me your number, man. I definitely want to get in contact with you and talk a little ball with you off camera too.
It's all good. Let's do it. I'm gonna put it in that IG DM that we did.
Okay, it's all good.
We play for keeps, Cuddy. You ain't heard about the huddle fire with no with D-Lane. We tryna get it off the muscle. Walters caught the pick and ran it back without a tussle. Blow the whistle, coach is trying to get back to the huddle.